Now, let's get into our section. It's chapter 17, section 2. We left off last week at the end of page 353. We did the fourth and fifth paragraph. Let me just quickly, we're talking, and this is what we kind of set this up, the whole thing up was the forgiven world. This is the experience we're moving towards. And look at the fifth paragraph. It says the real world is attained simply by complete forgiveness of the old, the world that you saw without forgiveness. And that's the world that we get caught up in. It's 353, if you're in a second edition, 353. The real world is just the world we experience after forgiveness is rested on it. And we might say, well, what's the other world that stands right next to it? The one you don't allow forgiveness to rest on. The one where you see the multiple fears instead of love being one. The great transformer of perception will undertake with you the careful searching of the mind that made this world and uncover to you the seeming reasons for your making it. Who do you think that great transformer of perception is? He goes by many names. That's the Holy Spirit. We share vision with the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is I always loved in Star Trek that they would say, do I have a logo of Star Trek? Right here. Bill is doing so many clever things. If you're viewing, you're seeing a logo of Star Trek right now. But I love that in the science fiction of the 60s, they would always say there was a universal translator. So when you met all these aliens, there was always a universal translator, so everybody spoke the same language, and so all of us watching TV could understand them in English. And that was said, I think, early in Star Trek, and then from then on out, we all knew they all spoke English because we all had a universal translator. Imagine that the Holy Spirit is the universal translator, and when people are being angry, they're saying, I'm calling out for love, I'm calling out for love. Can you imagine that? I mean, that's what's being said. So we do need him to help that for us. And then by doing that, to uncover to you the seeming reason for making the world. The Course often says that this world arose from the thought that we could be separate from our source, the thought of separation. But we have to keep that thought going. And we keep that going all the time by our fearful images, by our judgments, by our anger, by our depressing thoughts. That's how we keep that thought going. So forgiveness of ourselves and sharing perception with the Holy Spirit is the way we undo this making of the world. So in the light of the real reason that he brings, as you follow him, he will show you that there is no reason here at all. So it's not that we're looking for a reason. There's absolutely no reason here. There's no sense here, is really what that's saying to us. Each spot his reason touches, or his awareness, or his international translation touches, his universal translation touches, grows alive with beauty, and what seemed ugly in the darkness of your lack of reason is suddenly released to loveliness. So how we see something through our mistaken ways, through the scary voice, or through the persistent fear, we can allow that to be released to what that really is showing us, what that really is understanding for us. Not even what the Son of God made in insanity could be without, and this is beautiful, a hidden spark of beauty that gently could release. Isn't that gorgeous? So even in this crazy world that or in a crazy circumstance or situation that you can see no possibility of hope there, that a spark of beauty was there, or it never could be. Because if this is a thought in the mind of the Son of God, the truth about you has never left this world. And so when we call upon the truth, we can dissipate this world, because that is always underneath everything. The reality. We call to the truth, we call to the light, and darkness dissipates. We call to the truth, and illusions dissipate. We call to love, and fear dissipates. That's what it's saying. Underneath all of this is the truth. That's what's so beautiful about it. That's what forgiveness gives us.